Namaste. It is wonderful to share together in learning about the life, work, and teachings of Baba Hari Dass, or as he was affectionately called by his students and devotees, Babaji, and also to explore about the spiritual path and the role of Guru or spiritual teacher on our path. Babaji was born in the Khammon region of India in 1923. He was a master yogi in the fullest and deepest sense of yoga as a rich and vast spiritual discipline leading to peace and wholeness. As such, he became the trusted spiritual guide to many across the globe. He was a lifelong celibate who left home at the age of 8 to seek spiritual fulfillment. He was also an author, artist, builder of rock walls, inspirer of institutions, and friend to all, from the youngest child to the oldest adult. Amazingly, he took a vow of silence in 1953 when he was 30, and kept that vow until he left his body in 2018 when he was 95. He did not speak for 65 years. If you were wondering how he taught while being silent, he communicated by writing on a small chalkboard and developed the ability to convey complex and subtle teachings in concise and accessible ways. These became his own version of the classical aphorisms of yoga. Perhaps even more significantly, his writings and his presence conveyed his calm and concentrated mind, his energetic and active body, and his loving and peaceful heart, which resulted from his yogic disciplines. This presentation is based on Babaji's autobiography, Path Unfolds. Babaji came to live in the USA at the request of young aspiring yogis in 1971 and wrote Path Unfolds sometime in the 80s. He then gave his manuscript to Ma Renu, a retired UC Davis art professor who became his student, sponsor, and personal attendant from the time he arrived in the USA until her death in 1999. It was Ma Renu who started Sri Ram Foundation, dedicated to publishing Babaji's writings and to supporting a home and school for destitute children in Haridwar, India. When Babaji gave Ma Renu Path Unfolds, he asked her to keep it a secret, saying, "Publish it when I am no more." When Ma realized that she would not outlive Babaji, she gave the manuscript to me with the same instructions, that it be kept a secret until publishing it after Babaji's death. Babaji left his body in 2018, and Path Unfolds was published in 2019. In his autobiography, Babaji only writes about his life prior to coming to the USA in 1971. Its focus is on his spiritual path and its unfolding, and he generously shares the teachings of his guru, Baba Raghubar Das Ji Maharaj. This illustrated presentation relies on Path Unfolds, but incorporates some of Babaji's teachings and work post-1971. As Babaji was guru, teacher to me, and to so many around the world, it naturally includes a little on Guru itself. And to provide an opportunity to experience Babaji's offering of yoga as a path to peace, it includes 2 practice periods for contemplation. May this presentation support the unfolding of our path to peace. Thank you. Path Unfolds. Baba Hari Dass, his life and teachings, and the classical Ashtanga Yoga that he brought to us provide inspiration on the human spiritual journey. Om Jai Shri Ganesh. Ganeshji, wise remover of obstacles, lover of music and dance, may the auspicious Shri Ganesh remove all obstacles on our path to peace. And in honor of the Guru, a few verses from the Guru Stotram. It is in honor of the Guru who lives within each heart, and the Guru who teaches the sacred truths from a place of self-knowledge. The photo accompanying the prayer is of the chair where Babaji taught at Mount Madonna Center for nearly 40 years. Listen to the Sanskrit.
Akhandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tat padam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Guruve namaha. Ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurumilitam yena tasmai Sri Guruve namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Reva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve namaha.
In Babaji's autobiography of his early life, he gives his reflections on his life's path and on its unfolding and on his own spiritual journey. He writes about his guru, Raghubar Das Ji Maharaj, and shares his guru's teachings. Baba means father and is often given as a title to those yogis of accomplishment. Hari is the aspect of the divine that sustains all the creation. Das means servant. So Hari Das is the servant of the divine sustainer. Babaji means respected father. This is a photo of Babaji taken in about 1972. Babaji, his life, work, writings, and example continue to be an inspiration on the spiritual path. While he was a physical guru to many, he taught that the true guru is within. He often shared that he would empower the institutions that he inspired to promote his lineage traditions and his teachings by preserving their essence while adapting them to contemporary life. For those who accepted Babaji as their spiritual teacher, their guru, we saw that he embodied the classical guru-disciple relationships described in the scriptures as loving father, as caring supporter, as strict disciplinarian, as model of universality and respect for all traditions, as kind friend, as playmate, as joyful companion, as co-worker and co-creator, and even as wearer of masks, as devotee, as master yogi, as the silent one trusted to plant the seed of path, practice, and liberation in our heart. As author, for those who are meeting Babaji for the first time, he and his teachings can be known through his many published works and through the life-transforming institutions he inspired and through the people he inspired to practice yoga. The institutions include the Mount Madonna Center for the Creative Arts and Sciences, a retreat and conference sanctuary located on 400 acres in the Santa Cruz Mountains. This is an early aerial view of Mount Madonna Center. And here is sunset seen from the center community building, West Deck. And looking out over the fog that's covering the Monterey Bay to the south and the Gavilan Range peeking out to the east. Other institutions include Mount Madonna Institute, a WASC-accredited college offering programs, certificates, and graduate degrees in yoga, Ayurveda, and community studies located on the MMC campus. And Mount Madonna School, MMS, a pre-K through 12th grade CAIS and WASC accredited children's school, which translates yogic values into the American educational rubric, also located on the MMC campus. At MMS, Babaji inspired values-laden intellectual, physical, and artistic pursuits. And the Pacific Cultural Center and Ashtanga Yoga Institute in downtown Santa Cruz, California. Here's a photo of an early work day and tea time at PCC. And in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, Babaji inspired the Salt Spring Center of Yoga and Children's School. And here's the first walk on that land. And Babaji's signature rock walls were built there as well. And in northern India, Babaji inspired the Sri Ram Ashram Children's Home and School, where, raised on fun, those children who once were destitute grow to become loving parents and professionals such as nurses, dentists, teachers, and administrators, and most importantly, fine human beings. We have seen now a few photos of Babaji that illustrate his life as inspiration and his role as teacher. There is much more to explore about teacher, guru. In Path Unfolds, Babaji wrote what his Guruji, Raghubar Dasji Maharaj, wrote to him about Guru. Guru, I am with you in the form of my teachings. We are always together as Guru and disciple, or as teachings and learnings. When the teachings are learned well, the learner becomes the teacher and carries the lineage of teaching eternally. So it is no matter if we accept Babaji as a personal guru or if we accept the wisdom of the eternal teachings as a personal guide. We have come to this moment together because we are on the spiritual path, the path of human transformation. This is a photo of Babaji taken before he came to the USA. He may have been in his 40s in this photo. As Babaji titled his autobiography, Path Unfolds, and as he chose each of his words carefully, let's take a moment to look at each of them, at path and at unfolds. Why is the word path used as an allegory for spiritual life? Path comes from the Greek root meanings feeling, suffering, and relief of suffering. The spiritual path is the path taken to relieve suffering, the path to transform human feelings, the path taken so that life is one of relief, of service, of peace. Those are the roots of the word path. What is the definition? From Webster's Dictionary, path is defined as the direction a person is moving, a course of action or conduct, a way made for continual treading. Babaji's teaching of the spiritual path and his description of walking on it himself include all of these. For example, the direction a person is moving. He encouraged us to move in the direction of increasing peace by decreasing selfishness, and of increasing love by decreasing hate. A course of action or conduct, he taught that right action, or what he called living a virtuous life, would reveal the peace within us. And finally, a way made for continual treading. He stressed regular spiritual practice, regular sadhana. He wrote regular sadhana so often that it finally became only the initials R.S., which he continued to write often and in answer to so many varied questions. Regular sadhana is the way made for continual treading. Babaji advised that the regular treading on the path is the best route to self-development. Now let's look at the word unfolds. Literally, not folded, not closed, not creased, and now meaning to become known, to reveal, to expand, to solve, to open gradually. We often use the word unfold in our spiritual life, especially the meanings to open gradually and to reveal, but also to expand and to become known. Babaji's teachings of peace, which are found in classical Ashtanga Yoga and based on the scriptures of the Vedas, Samkhya Karika, Upanishads, Yoga Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita, all unfold like the path because of continual walking toward peace through devotion to practice, study, and right action. This spiritual path, this continual treading, has many contours. It is sometimes pleasant, sometimes austere, and sometimes magnificent. It is long. We walk on it in our youth, in our maturity, and in our old age. We notice that the path and we unfold from a bud to a blossom, and eventually to fully opened bloom. While on the path, we seek inspiration. Nature often provides that for us with its dynamic and intense energy, with its elements and grandeur. Shiva mountains with their peaks, and Shakti mountains with their gentle slopes. river water flowing, ocean water vast and turbulent, transformative fire, air and space, unseen, yet holding and sheltering all of life. And we are inspired on the path by images of the divine. Sri Ram, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, and we take inspiration by the wisdom of indigenous peoples from around the globe, from the Americas to Africa. And we are inspired by the lives of saints in so many traditions. Guru Nanak, Ananda Mahima, Mother Teresa, Saint Francis. And we are inspired by the teachings and the teacher. No wonder we honor the teacher and the path as it unfolds. I am inspired by this photo of Babaji, taken toward the end of his life, when he was in his final seclusion, not leaving his home. When a student came to see him, Babaji immediately started doing mudra. Such was the depth of his commitment to teach, and such was his expression of the spiritual path. In honor of this commitment to the path, and to its expression, and to the practice, we are now going to take time for a brief personal reflection on the spiritual path, its unfolding, and the inspiration to continue to tread on this self-chosen duty of self-development. Please begin to take a seat that will support your body and your mind to concentrate. The gong will be used to begin and to end the contemplation. Take your seat, close your eyes, or let them be downcast, or look out into the expanse without attaching to any detail. Relax ever so deeply into your seated pose. Allow your mind to follow your breath. Notice calm beginning to hold you. Body, mind, breath harmonized. Set intention for this brief self-reflection. Set intention for your spiritual journey. Bring enthusiasm to realizing your aim. As you withdraw your mind onto the path of your inner journey, If you can remember your time with Babaji, or if you have studied his teachings, or if you have been to one of his yoga centers, or if you can imagine a saintly person who embodies peaceful mind, loving heart, and active body, take a moment now and reflect on that memory. Allow a feeling of devotion and peace to arise in your heart. Now journey deep into the expansive cave of the boundless Sacred Heart. From deep inside, see the path unfolding. Let arise the inspirations you cherish. Nature's beauty and its power. Practices and their tools. Accomplished ones and their blessings. Protectors and their symbols. Consciousness and its formless bliss. Feel into the fullness of gratitude for inspiration on the spiritual path. Now, from that gratitude, let arise inner knowing of the nature of your path and its needed unfolding. Examine your path's rocky contours and its smooth openings, its curves and straightaways, its foggy dips, and awe-inspiring views. Abide in that full view of your path leading to peace. Individuality unfolding into universality. Separate being unfolding into limitless consciousness. Being itself, alive and awake, guiding and revealing the path to peace. Rest in that ever-present being of the nature of bliss. Reflected in the clear mirror of the mind. Felt in the open channel of the heart. Alive within the still body. Realized by constantly treading on the path as it unfolds. While keeping the meditative state, you may wish to note some of your reflections. Now, seeing our path more clearly, be it smooth or steep at this moment, we'll begin to explore the teachings in Babaji's autobiography, Path Unfolds. Babaji encouraged us to be guided on the spiritual path by our inner guru. In writing Path Unfolds, Babaji generously shared his reflections on his path, his earliest childhood, his very human struggles, and his spiritual development and experiences, and the teachings that supported him as his path unfolded. Here's the earliest photo I know of Babaji. Perhaps he was 4 years old, taken with his aunt. We know that one of the dictates of Babaji's spiritual tradition is to not share personal stories, as that might bring pride or fame. Babaji was heedful of this admonition, and indeed it is part of his cultural heritage. When I would meet his contemporaries in India and ask them to tell me about their life with Babaji or about his early life, they would always say, "Ask me about him when he is no more. I cannot tell you anything until then." Now, like Babaji, they too are no more, and so cannot be asked. And this is a photo of the 17-year-old Babaji. Although there is no longer anyone to ask about his early life stories, fortunately Babaji wrote them for us, asking us to share what he wrote, but only when I am no more. This photo is undated, perhaps Babaji in his 30s. A teacher to his core, in Path Unfolds, Babaji offers us the benefit of his synthesis of his learnings as his path unfolded. And in this photo, he may have been in his 40s. Importantly, Babaji shared not only his insights, but also his vulnerabilities, the rocky contours of his path. And here in this photo, he's in his 50s. He'd taken a vow not to cut his hair, and it grew very long. What are the lessons taught in Path Unfolds? For me, the greatest teaching is the human potential to transform. Here, Babaji is walking on a path with a child, an adult, and a dog. In Path Unfolds, Babaji teaches that the spiritual path is the story of each human life, one that we all walk. This is because Babaji reveals his humanness and his vulnerabilities. He reveals his emotional, mental, and experiential patterns called samskaras. He reveals the way that the kleshas manifested in his early life. Klesha is translated as afflictions and refers to the baskets of negativity or to the veils covering the inner light. These veils or kleshas take the form of fear, aversion, attraction, egoism, and ignorance. In Path Unfolds, Babaji shares how he self-developed self-knowledge and worked to transform his samskaras and to remove the kleshas from his sense of self. Every one of us has samskaras, patterns that form the everyday landscape of our life. Every one of us is held captive by the kleshas. Every one of us on the spiritual path is engaged in transforming our samskaras and freeing ourselves from the kleshas. Babaji exposed his own human challenges humbly and directly, with family relationships, including his father, mother, and siblings, with his friends, at school and on the job, with money and livelihood, with work, with the situation of his times, of class, colonialism, society, and culture, with his self-expression and creativity, with his youthful adventures, with intoxicants, and with spiritual practice. Path Unfolds teaches that we are all walking the spiritual path of self-transformation. Sometimes we walk in solitude. Sometimes in satsang, in the company of other truth seekers. Regardless, the path is always present and always available, even when rough or unstable. In Path Unfolds, Babaji writes about his early and midlife patterns, challenges and spiritual practices, from his birth in India in 1923 to his coming to the USA in 1971. For the years after Path Unfolds, from 1971 to 2018, or from Babaji's full maturity to his old age, he did not write an autobiography. But he did share his life with his students. He did not talk about his attainments or state. He simply shared himself in his work, his devotion, and in his teachings. We experienced that his samskaras, or mental and emotional patterns, and the kleshas, or veils of ignorance, had been transformed into love, compassion, wisdom, insight, and spiritual realization. And so for me, the greatest gift and the greatest lesson from Babaji telling his early life story is the proof that the individual human being can dissolve the veils that cover the universal self. In this photo, and like in the previous one, the fingers of both of Babaji's hands are touching. There are many teachings in Path Unfolds. Our satsang have been sharing our learnings, and I thank all who gave me photos and shared their insights. Babaji shared with all of us much that his guru, Baba Raghupar Das Ji Maharaj, taught him. For example, that experience unfolds the path. One thing leads to another, and the path unfolds by every event in life. Life is for learning. And don't forget that every event in life unfolds the path. You learn not only from good experiences in life, but you also learn from bad experiences in life as well. Forget the past and don't worry for the future. Make your present peaceful without the memory. That is meditation. And from Babaji to us, human life is for experience and liberation. And his often refrain, we have to do all. And Babaji wrote about self-development as the unfolding of the path. No one can eat for anyone. We have to strive to achieve our goal. If we expect that someone will take us to heaven, it is a false belief. If I want to be a good person, then I have to develop good qualities within me. Someone else's love, compassion, honesty, etc. will not make me a good person, no matter how closely we live together. And anger, lust, greed, fear, attachments, desires, etc. are the impurities within us. If we don't identify our impurities, we will not even think about removing them. If we identify them and don't try to remove them, thinking someone else will remove them for us, still the impurities will not go away. The only way to remove them is to first recognize them and then take full responsibility to remove them by cultivating good qualities such as love, compassion, honesty, etc. And while these teachings are strict and require us to take responsibility for ourselves, Babaji, ever the compassionate teacher, blesses us with the teachings of how to transform ourselves, where to walk on the path. These next quotes are from his Guru's teachings to him, now passed on to us. Look for God within. Nothing comes from outside. Everything is already within us. Just remove the veil and peek inside. You will find peace, an eternal peace. And find yourself within yourself, and the journey is over. If you attain peace in the present, that peace will be with you forever. And when the mind is busy in the outer world, it doesn't see the seer of the mind. When the mind is stopped from going outside, then it turns inward, and sees the seer, the Atman, self. And from Babaji, I am looking for God within me. If I could attain peace and contentment, I would say that is God. Those who look for God outside, they too will come back to look inside when they can't find God outside. After getting tired of looking for God outside, an aspirant starts looking for God within. And in the beginning, like all others, I believed God was a superhuman being, and someday I would see him standing in front of me. By the regular practice of sadhana, the concept of God changed. For me, God was no more with name and form. For me, God was neither one, nor two, nor many. For me, God is infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. The question of where to look for God subsided. An inner voice said, "It is what it is. Accept it as it is." And that is eternal peace. This photo inspires inner gaze, inner sight. How can we learn to look within? Path unfolds and Babaji teach to find inner peace, remove ignorance. Again from Baba Raghubar Das Ji Maharaj. I have given you the key, and now open the door and step in. This mind, body, and senses do not operate by themselves. What is that energy that exists in the mind, the body, and the senses? Find it out. And to find inner peace, remove attachment. No one can own nature. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether are universally owned. But when ignorance possesses the mind, we become the owner. So keep in mind that all you do is only for God. Humans don't possess anything. Only the human mind is possessed by possessions. Live like a servant of God and renounce the ego of ownership. That is surrender to God. And so we learn that the spiritual path can be rocky and hard to travel. To find inner peace, remove desire and self-interest. And from Babaji's own self-reflection, I remembered my Guru's words. Now you have created your own world. Someday you have to remove what you have created. When you have chosen this way of living, then the only way to live in peace is to live like a servant and never feel like the owner. And now that the net of desire was strong, although I told myself it was a duty, responsibility, and selfless service, but deep down there was a hidden desire to make a place where I could live, where I could control, where I could be happy. Desire appears in various forms to trick the mind. Desire can take the form of charity, austerity, selfless service, compassion, love, etc. But deep inside, there is always a desire for some self-interest. First, it is hard to recognize the self-interest, and then it gets even harder to remove it. To find inner peace, accept life as it is. How? For more support from Babaji, we can't change it. So what is the value of life if we have no control over it? The value is only in positive living, like when a person lives a spiritual life by developing compassion for the downtrodden, love for every living being, non-violence, non-attachment to the pleasures of the world. To find inner peace, uncover what is actually real. From Babaji, what is actually real? In actuality, nothing exists in any real permanent form, but for human beings, the ego, attachment, and desires create a reality in all unreal things. When that self-created reality, which we thought would give endless happiness, pleasure, and security, starts vanishing, we get pain. For one who understands the unreality, however, that vanishing reality brings the knowledge of the Absolute. Brahm. The essence of life is never lost. It is immortal. Importantly, Babaji shares the depth of his commitment to his aim. Quoting, "My throat started choking, tears started falling, and I could not talk. I only wanted to know, how can I find myself within myself?" Take a moment now within yourself to ask, what is my aim on my spiritual path? How is yoga organized so that we can be supported in realizing our aim? Babaji both exemplified and taught the classical yogic paths, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Babaji wrote commentary on the Bhagavad Gita as well as translated the verses. Listen to the Sanskrit of verse 10 from chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita.
Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupasritaha bahavo jnana tapasa Bhuta madbhavamagataha.
Freed from attachment, fear, and anger, absorbed in me, taking refuge in me, purified by the fire of knowledge, many have attained my being. And a summary of Babaji's commentary on that verse: God realization is achieved by 1. Karma Yoga, in which attachment, fear, and anger are removed. 2. Bhakti Yoga, in which one is absorbed in God through complete surrender. 3. Jnana Yoga, in which discrimination between the real and unreal is known. What is Karma Yoga? Yoga of action, yoga of giving selflessly, love in action, yoga that reduces egoism and separation and brings acceptance. What is Bhakti Yoga? Yoga of devotion, yoga of heart, yoga of ritual observances, yoga of surrender, yoga that brings absorption in universality. What is Jnana Yoga? Yoga of study, yoga of intellect, yoga of meditation, yoga that pierces ignorance, yoga that brings self-realization. And Babaji wrote commentary and translated the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Patanjali Yoga Sutras defines yoga and gives its result in Book 1, Sutras 2 and 3. Listen to the Sanskrit.
Yogas chitta vritti nirodha.
Yoga is the control of thought waves in the mind. Listen again to the Sanskrit.
Tada drashtu swarupe avastanam.
Then, when the thought waves are controlled, the seer is established in one's own true nature. Like the Gita, the Yoga Sutras teach about the path of spiritual realization. In these two sutras, Patanjali presents yoga as ultimate union, the individual merged in the universal, all separations dissolved, absorption in the realization of the one true self, which is one's own true nature. And Patanjali presents the method for that realization of that unity. Control of the fluctuations or the revolvings or the waves of thoughts in the mind. It's a simple instruction. It's a difficult practice. How fortunate that Patanjali also inspires us with the results of our efforts. Then we will be established in peace. The teachings go on to give us many methods on the path. What are the methods? Listen to the Sanskrit.
Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tannirodha.
Thought waves are controlled by persistent practice and dispassion.
Ishvara pranidhanadva.
Self-surrender to God.
Yatha bimata dhyanadva.
Or by meditation as desired.
tapaha swadhyayeshwara pranidhanani kriya yogaha.
Austerity, self-study, and surrender to God constitute Kriya Yoga, practical yoga.
Yoganga nushtana dashuddhikshaye jnanadiptir avivekakyate.
By the practice of the limbs of yoga, impurities are destroyed. Then spiritual illumination arises, culminating in discriminative knowledge. While Patanjali goes into great detail in the 4 books of the Yoga Sutras, these 5 core sutras give an orientation for all of us. Practice, dispassion, self-surrender, meditation, austerity, self-study, and the practice of the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. These are the methods. Within these sutras, we again see the methods of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. Practice is Karma Yoga. Dispassion is Jnana Yoga. Self-surrender is Bhakti Yoga. Meditation is Jnana Yoga. Austerity is Karma Yoga. Self-study is Jnana Yoga. Surrender to God is Bhakti Yoga. The 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga contain all 3 of these. Are these methods the cause of transformation? No. Patanjali teaches the cause of transformation is the power of nature itself, and that our power is limited only to removing the obstacles to self-knowledge. Listen to the Sanskrit from Book 4 on liberation.
Jatyantara parinamaha prakritya purat.
The inflowing of nature is the cause of all transformation. If that is the case, that nature is the power that transforms, how are we to work with nature so that we are transformed? Listen to the Sanskrit of Sutra 3 of Book 4.
Nimitta aprayojakam prakritinam varna bhedastu tataha chaitrikavat.
All that is necessary is to remove the obstacles to enlightenment, just as a farmer removes the barriers to the water flowing into the field. Have you ever seen a photo of water held behind an earth berm or a small dam or a barrier in an irrigated field? When the farmer hoes away the berm, breaks the dam, or removes the barrier, the water flows quickly into the next field. Sri Patanjali says that the methods and spiritual practices are like the farmer removing the barrier. Regular sadhana removes our blocks, obstacles, and barriers that keep us from realizing the all-abiding, ever-present self that resides within and permeates all of creation at this very moment and always. It flows by itself. Patanjali ends the very final verse of the Yoga Sutras with a restatement of the result of yoga that he's given us in the first book. What is the result of constantly treading on the spiritual path? Listen to the Sanskrit.
Purushartha shunyanam gunanam prati prasavaha kaivalyam swarupa pratishta va chitti shaktiritti.
Kaivalya, liberation, is when the qualities of nature, having fulfilled their purpose, are reabsorbed into primordial nature, when the power of pure consciousness is established in its own nature. Then the self knows itself as itself. Self resides in self alone. To summarize, there are many inspirations from Babaji's Path Unfolds. For me, the most important are: Path unfolds as a human journey of transformation. We all walk on that spiritual path, and we all can remove the obstacles to transformation and find inner peace. Path unfolds by experience. Learn from every experience. Do all that needs to be done to learn. Path unfolds through the discipline and self-chosen dedication to self-development. To find inner peace, look for God within. To find inner peace, remove ignorance, attachment, and desire. To find inner peace, accept life as it is. And importantly, be true to aim and supported by faith. Aim. Intend to walk on the spiritual path. Intend to continue on the path. Intend to find the self within. Trust that the path is unfolding and the destination of inner peace will be reached. Before we formally take our seat for contemplation on the lessons of Path Unfolds, but as you begin to transition your mind inward, listen to these teachings worthy of contemplation. From Baba Raghubar Das Ji Maharaj: nothing comes from outside. Everything is already within us. Just remove the veil and peek inside. You will find peace, an eternal peace. I have given you the key. And now open the door and step in. This mind, body, and senses do not operate by themselves. What is that energy that exists in the mind, body, and senses? Find it out. And from Babaji: the only reality that exists is universal consciousness. So think, I am that universal consciousness. Om Tat Sat. Let Babaji's words echo within and begin to settle into a meditative posture that will support your still mind as we practice to integrate what we've learned from Path unfolds. This practice will be about 15 minutes, and it's organized from the practices of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. When you hear the gong, use the sound to go more deeply into concentration, or use it to bring your mind back to concentration. 3 gongs will end the practice. Asana practice. Take a meditative posture. Be relaxed within your elemental body. Within this seated pose, intention can be set. Take a moment to set intention, your aim on the spiritual path. Action and mind follow intention. Bring enthusiasm to realizing this aim. Pranayama practice, regulation of breath, expansion of life force. As you practice, you may notice the result of regulating the breath, how energy moves in the body, how life force expands, how mind stills. Practice Dirgarechak Pranayama, control of the exhale breath. Mind focuses on the exhale, and it may become more extended and subtle. It's followed by a natural inhale, whatever the body needs. Practice Dirgarechak Pranayama, control of exhale breath. Complete the round that you're practicing. Practice Dirga Purak Pranayama, control of the inhale breath. Mind focuses on inhale. It may become more subtle and elongated. After a full inhale, exhale naturally, whatever the body needs. Practice Dirga Purak Pranayama. Bring your practice to a close. Pratyahar practice. Scan your body, mind, heart for any distractions to concentration. Welcome them with courage. Let them know you'll attend to them at an appropriate time. As a support on the inner path, call on your ancestors, allies, and lineage holders of yogins who have walked this path before. Ask for their protection and for their support to remove any obstacle on your journey. Let your senses follow your mind deep into the cave of the boundless sacred heart, like bees follow their queen. Be safe inside, like a tortoise withdrawn deep into its shell. Now freely embark on the inner journey to peaceful presence. Dharana, dhyan, concentration, meditation. Resting within the cave of the boundless sacred heart, contemplate on these words from Path Unfolds. Nothing comes from outside. Everything is already within. Feel into the ground of your physical, elemental being. At the base of your spine, pool of universal life energy residing within, inspiring body to act. Karma Yoga, yoga of action. Contemplate on action without any clinging. Removing the sense of separate self. Dedicated to the divine. Action of love and surrender that brings acceptance. Let your inner path lead from the elemental to the subtle, to the sacred heart, seat of surrender. Self-effulgence seated in the center of your being. Yet radiating beyond any limit. I sense residing in the subtle heart of being. Sense of being within. Sense of being permeating all creation. Of the nature of bliss. Inspiring awe and ever deepening devotion. Bhakti Yoga, yoga of devotion. Surrender that removes all sense of individuality. Surrender that reveals blissful self. From the subtle, dissolve into the expansive causal energy of creation itself. Feel the energy at the crown of your head. Open door to higher consciousness. Awake, pure intellect, inspiring self-realization. Jnana Yoga, yoga of self-knowledge through meditation. Self-study that merges in self itself. Self-liberating, self-aware. Merge into consciousness itself. Ever present. Unchanging. Causeless cause. Emptiness full, full of emptiness. The key is yours. Now open the door and step in. Individual mind, body, senses, permeated by consciousness. Universal energies of creation. permeated by consciousness. Unify all universality with individuality, like ocean and its waves, unified yet distinct. Like sun and its rays, unified yet distinct. Like night sky and its stars, unified yet distinct. Consciousness alone, within and without. The only reality that exists is universal consciousness, so think. I am that universal consciousness. Om Tat Sat. Absorb in consciousness. Abide in consciousness. Merge with consciousness. No separation possible. I am that. Universal consciousness. While keeping the meditative state, you may wish to journal any insights. Om Jai Shri Ganesh. May your path be easy, and may the continual treading, RS, lead to inner peace for each and for all. We will close with a prayer. Listen to the Sanskrit.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om. All that is invisible is verily the infinite God, Self. All that is visible is also the infinite God, The whole universe has come out of the infinite God. Though the whole universe has come out of the infinite God, God remains infinite. Om. Peace, peace, peace. I bow to the teacher and to the teachings. Om Tat Sat.